undergraduate students got accepted for her paper, Maddie. Yeah, and she won the award. So, really excited to hear.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for staying on after a long day. Appreciate that. I'm Anne. I'm a lecturer in Human Resource Management at King's. So welcome to King's, and I hope you enjoy your day at the conference. So today I'm going to present our scholarship paper on enhancing student engagement through inquiry-based learning. And this project has been funded by the Innovative Education Fund at King's. So I'm going to talk about a bit about the context and the challenges, what motivates us to embark on this project, how's it going, some of the scholarship rationale behind it, and some takeaway and discussion. So I think I want to start with the challenges that we face here at King's, and I hope that it's also relevant to your institutional context as well, with the pervasive use of AI and also lots of pressures on the students nowadays. We've seen an increasing use of plagiarism in the work, maybe the lack of training, but also they engage in some unethical cheating behavior. So we want to support the students, provide students the platform to help them improve on these academic integrity skills, to help them avoid those incidents. We've also noticed that the research environment here at King's, and also during the throughout the undergraduate levels, often limited to some research assistantship, so students can apply and engage to work with professors and senior lecturers, but not so much more than that. So we wanted to create a more creative platform so that students can engage in a more low-stake but more independent space for them to help improve on the research and critical thinking skills. Even though we talk about research-led teaching, but also as practitioner, but also educators, we want to explore more about how we can embed that research-led element to the learning experience for our students. So that's the challenges, but also in terms of the motivation to promote student engagement with the course, we hope that through an innovative project of essay competition, we can help to develop students' academic integrity, help them to engage in research that help them support the learning outcomes and the academic maturity in general as a person. So with that, we sort of conducted a scoping review on 33 institutions of higher education all around the UK. So we did include Russell Group's universities, 23 of them, and also 20 post-92 institutions on their business and management programs. So that includes economic, business, marketing, finance and accounting, HRM, all of the listed business and management included in the programs. And what we've noted about from the finding is that in terms of the dissertations element, only more than half of the institutions require a mandatory element of student writing a dissertation. This split evenly between Russell groups and also post-92 groups. So Russell group, we would categorize them as more research-intensive institutions, and post-92 as more teaching-based institutions, and only just more than half of them require this dissertation element in their program. And we found that the strongest sort of requirement for research work is in marketing, and the lowest is in finance and accounting. And that also speaks to the disciplinary differences of how research is conceptualized, or maybe some influence of the professional associations as well. But we found that there is a huge sort of variations in the way that research has been taught and also assessed in different institutions across the UK. We've also looked at the availability of student journals in those institutions, and we found only 9 institutions had formal peer-reviewed journals for students. So these are the platform that students can publish their work, their research work, and that student journal is a wonderful platform to help students engage into with the full cycle of research. If you think about writing an academic paper, then this is the final publishing platform for them. We've also seen there's a huge gap between Russell Group's universities that had, editorial mentorship for students. Probably they're well resourced and also have the faculty involvement in the mentorship for student journal as well. For post 92, there's more limited availability of such initiatives, and only those offered through informal blogs and portfolios. And we also looked at funded research schemes, and we found that only 10 Russell groups offer such undergraduate paid research assistantships. We do one here at King's, but for post 92, there's much more limited. None of the institution offers such funded schemes. And I think this is one of the things that we wanted to highlight here, that there's some structural gaps in undergrad research, especially for those first year and second year who haven't necessarily got access to that dissertations phase, but they want to get an early access, or maybe just bit of a exposure to the world of research in academia, which might sound sometimes a bit scary and exclusive to them. I can talk from my own experience when I used to be an international student and learning about academia or publishing an academic work can sound a bit daunting work, and I don't know how to start or who to reach out for that. So with that sort of challenges, motivations, and situation in mind, we will go back to the literature on pedagogy, and we found this theoretical framework by Vygotsky, social cultural learning theory, where we can sort of conceptualize the learning environment and sort of the structure that we might want to model on for our initiative. So Vygotsky conceptualized learning as socially mediated. So students will perform as if scholars before their full masteries of skills, and learning will happen when the students are supported with students will learn and transform their skills through supported challenges, as in they have the more knowledgeable peers to ask to provide support for them when they need. Then also learning can be done in a structured scaffolding. So we think about the essay competition. We not just throw them into out of the water and give them the essay competition to do, but I'll talk about it in a minute, that we try to gradually introduce them to the world of research through procedure scaffolding, meaning we provide training on how to structure paragraphs, write essays, academic reading, writings. And we also talk about conceptual scaffolding, where we also have sessions that help students to put together those ideas or how to deal with peer feedback and how to even overcome that inertia in writing. So those are the more hidden aspects of academic writing and research that get less talked about. And we also focus on the metacognitive belief that encourage students to reflect on their learning journey and also really internalize the learning experience about the becoming part of it, not just the skill acquisition, but how and who they become after engaging with us through the initiative. Then also reflexive dialogical practice. So we really aim to create a more learning via peer critique, collaborative collaborations between peers and students, because they worked together in a team, in editorial team, and help students to move from just passive receptions of knowledge to more authorship and producers of knowledge. And finally, we want to focus on that transformational journey of epistemic agency and identity development. Of we want to move beyond just teaching the students the research skills to more about the identity forming process of students will become confident, and they really are capable of participation and producing knowledge as confident and equal producers of knowledge. So with that sort of theoretical framework informing our work, we adopted our philosophy as constructivists. So we basically want to co-produce knowledge with the students, and we go and we adopted an action research design that help us to engage in the intervention, but also make any change and responsive to the need as we go along. And we have the in institutional context here at King's that we are more diverse and multilingual student body here. 80% of our students coming from non-native speakers background, and they have limited research experience, and that's what we wanted to explore and improve with our intention. So this is the main intervention that we've been we've been implementing since 2022. So as I said, there are multi components of the intervention. First, we started with an essay competition that was launched 3 years ago, and now it's sort of going annually. Students were asked to submit, encouraged to submit essays that focus on different issues. We did in the first year we launched, we asked students on sustainability themes, so very relevant to Dane and Jasmine's work. Then also we have a judge of PhD students and academics to look at the entry prize, to look at the essay entries and give them a prize at different multiple levels. So we have first year prizes for first year, second year, and third year students to ensure they are encouraged to do and compete fairly. But alongside with the essay competition, we also launch regular academic skills workshops to help students, as I mentioned, scaffolded them to engage with the essay competition. So we cover a range of topics from research design to academic arguments and structures, and really we targeted to help to support those multilingual and early career students keen with research. Then we also launched a research career panels where we really demystify that hidden curriculum of academic research by inviting academics and PhD students to share about their work and their journey, and sort of foster that forum for students to ask about professional development and career advice on in the world of research, so students don't feel scared or a bit excluded by that. Then after we've done all that, then the winning entries and other kind of participating entries will be invited to submit for a student-led journal. This is really where we advertise the roles for students on different positions of a student journal. So we have editors, reviewers, curators, and team issues. And those group of students will meet together and organize public events, and they look at peer reviews together. So those, we provide also mentorship for students to do that. And that's sort of a repeated design over the past 3 years. So as you can see here, those are the websites that we launched here at King's. And we start with a theme, and that's aligned with our institution research gender and also the overall strategy. So this year we focus on tariffs, trade war, and the economy, quite a topical issue now. And we receive also huge interest from students to participate. Christopher's students also participate as well, so that's great. So after we had that theme idea, then we seek for funding. We need funding to set up the cost for the journal. We run the journals as well. So it has been funded by through internal funding at King's, which is great. Then we set up a promotion and increase that visibility for the event. So we sort of put up different channels of communications for students. These are some of the posters. These are the pictures from one of the research panel teams. We invited colleagues to talk about their work and sort of inspiring and role models effects on our students as well. They look very keen, some of them more keen than others. We have the journal, student journal here, which I'm very proud of our students. Those are entirely student-led with some support from the faculty. The journals for perspectives, and we have a list of students, editors, and reviewers here, and they have been in the running, the third cycle running already. So these are some of the students. We occasionally have learning lunches with the editor students, just to share, to have that conversations, and also provide a social platform with students to debrief and reflect on the journal experience together. So after each cycle, we try to also evaluate effectiveness of the journal and the intervention in general. So we have post-intervention student questionnaires, and we also ask the practitioner to give us a reflective report each year. And so that way we can collect more qualitative data on how we can improve on each year cycle. So these are some of the key themes that we found over the years with the Mozart code and the themes here to answer our questions about how our intervention can engage students with research, and how can we develop students' identity and reflexivity, and how we can improve on our design of such inclusive and inquiry-based intervention. So I'm going to just leave some of the codes here, but we're very pleased to see that most of the students also found the experience transformative and helpful for them in terms of elevating and encouraging students. Some of them have been intimidated by research before, but now sort of becoming more confident and own their academic inquiry, which sort of responded to the challenges we started with. So very pleased to see. The use of visual pedagogy was also noted and helped for the students. They also talk about how the themes have been broken down, the structure has been broken down very easy for them to follow along. So the scaffolding is one of the big themes. identity and agency development as well. To be honest, this is one of the more unexpected and outcome that students really found that as a competition in the whole cycle of work has been an identity forming journey. So the theme has been repeated, and it's very pleased to see academic self-efficacy, empowerment. So I'm going to just very quickly wrap up because I've got the flag from Christopher. So we really talk about the scholarship has been fully informed by Vygotskian theory, and we really wanted to bridge that institutional gaps in terms of research access to the students, and sort of we wanted to contribute to the practice by making sure that we provide extracurricular platform for students to engage with research. So I'm going to leave it there as the key takeaway, but thank you so much for listening.
Thank you. It's always so fascinating. You always think, you know what's happening in your place of work, and then you hear your colleagues talk about it. You think, oh my God, that's been happening. Oh my God, it's amazing what you guys do. All right, let's go to the floor.
Thank you very much. And apparently, research skills have been highlighted as one of the most important skills in the age of AI in previous presentations. So we do need this. Well, my question is, it relates to the struggle of post-92 universities when it comes to research. I applied something similar of an essay competition for my level 7 students, master's students, and it didn't work well to the extent that we had to change the assessment later on. It was part of an assessment. It wasn't something like extra. They had to do it, but there weren't any monetary prizes, but the prize was potential to be published in the journal. So probably because there wasn't a clear infrastructure to support research. But from point of view, what would motivate undergraduate students and or postgraduate students in a post-92 environment to engage with such activities? And based on what you've done so far, what is the uptake? Is it mostly level 6, level 5, from which disciplines? So I have two questions.
Thank you. Yeah, that's such a great question. I think it's always a challenge, at least for me, just to encourage students' engagement with extracurricular activity. Let's say with formal learning first, let alone extracurricular activity. I think we privileged in a way here at King's that we got that funding support from King's. So the prizes we give out is really let's say impressive, attractive. So we got £600 for the first prize and then £400 for the second. So I think I'm tempted to say the student also encouraged and incentivized in that way to participate because it's a lot of money. But I would say that throughout the sort of implementation process, we carefully thought about what will be relevant to the students at the time. So how can students make the most of this experience together, because it takes time to engage. So some of the students mentioned the intellectual sort of learning about the topical issues. So we carefully thought about, for example, this year we have the competition on tariffs and trade wars. So that is something that students can invest their time and make a portfolio out of it. And some of our students actually applied and got really good offers from grad schools, mentioning their experience with the journal and with the competition. So and we really focus on also promoting the events with different journals, with different posters and channels of communications as well. So I thought, even though the money and the monetary incentive is the big sort of attractive, but we try to also frame and also promote the events in all sorts of different motivations for the students. So I hope that's something can be relevant and applicable. So
Yes.
Thank you. That was really, really interesting. But I'm thinking that there are going to be students who are supremos at using AI to build a really clever essay, and then the ones that aren't very good at it will be disadvantaged. So did you incorporate that in your sort of methodology and scaffolded approach with the students?
Yes, just to clarify the question, is it the how AI proof the essay competition is like students can use
student perspective, I'm writing an essay.
Yes.
There are going to be some students who are very, very proficient in using AI that you won't be able to tell they've used it. And there'll be some that are basic AI that you can tell. And there'll be some that don't have that at all. So how do you have equity across the board?
That's a very good question. I think we sort of part of the motivation we started this is to demystify the use of AI and also support the student to even use AI better in writing. Actually, we publicly and openly encourage unethical use of AI in the essay competitions, and we also have a very experienced judge of PhD students and academics who will look into the marking criteria of those essays. So those essays written by AI, but we really looked at critical thinking, argumentation, the ability to evaluate different evidence, so with high level of complexity. So those will be highly rewarded, and those skills, I think, for now has not been attested to by AI yet. So we can sort of differentiate in that way in the way we judge the entries. But go back to your point about the equity issues with AI usage. We try to embed the ethical use of AI throughout our workshops, academic skills workshops, and I think we talk also about that and how we can harness the power of AI in academic writing, but not abuse of it. Yeah.
Great, fantastic. Final question.
But something I'd like to just share from today's session when we really start sharing about assessment and how teaching AI was. Well, this week we had this teaching and learning thing development of this in our business school itself. And what I sort of picked up with this AI bit, and we're afraid of AI and using AI, it sort of reflect back to, I think we need to teach students the skills like what you're sharing now, it's fantastic skills that they need to know how to do research, need to know how to do writing, and how does it look like. So that when the AI actually just turn it out and helping them train on quickness, faster speed, they're still doing the right thing that they know how to check. Reason being because AI is a tech and tech will die on this. And I'm saying this because I had experience when I was doing my first tour in NHS was having a cyber attack. So the whole hospital, whole NHS were all down, and I was supposed to deliver my daughter that night itself, which is Friday night. Thursday got hacked. So they do a blood test out on the Thursday for me to do delivery, but because of the hack, the nurse had to come back and draw blood again to do a manual diagnosis check and all over again because there's no computer system anymore. Now, if I let the person who's doing all this do not know the skills, and now they had died on them, nothing's going to happen. So the same thing is, as much as we use AI, so the text not working, the researcher will still know how to write and check the whole thing. So I mean, as much as like the AI tool is fantastic in helping, which is great and encouraging, but I think it's great that we're encouraging them at an early stage that how you learn, how you understand it, and use AI to advantage to speed it up in one kind of thing. And yeah, so it's just that'd be all.
I think that's an excellent opening for a conversation we can have over a nice drink on it. Thank you. That was one final question. All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you for that.